Ray, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
I appreciate it, brother. Like you said earlier, hold on, my camera's slipping down. Like you said earlier, man, it's been a long time in the making, and that's been my fault primarily just because with COVID, football season was a bit of a different monster. Now, normally football is a beast in itself, and with COVID, man, we had extra meetings. We were getting tested 2 and 3 times a week. We had kids that were getting close contacts because, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old men. So, you know, most time when they get close contact alerts or they get notified they're close contact, it's from a girl. And man, it's oh my God, you're talking about a team of 65 on a college campus. So we were getting this stuff all the time. So kind of just threw everything off.
Yeah, man, this COVID thing has thrown a true spanner in the works. But interesting that you kind of bring that up. So I know because I used to play rugby to a pretty high standard over here, so I've got a lot of guys that still play to a very high standard, and they've kind of just been allowed to go back to full contact in sessions and stuff. So have you guys been in contact during all of this, or had to be like distance contact? You know what I mean?
Oh no, like we actually played a abbreviated season. Um, we were slated to do 7 games, but that got quickly bumped down to 6 because a few schools started, and COVID just, it was just too much to deal with the normal demands of football season. So a few teams just said, we tried this, we don't like it, so we're out. And we ended up playing 6 games. We started out pretty good. We, I think week 2, we won our game, and just that quick, bam, we had to sit down for 14 days, and it was rough, man. It was one of those seasons that you know, I know JUCO coaches and Mississippi coaches are probably going to talk about for a while because I know a lot of high schools they didn't even attempt to play,
Yeah.
and
It's just been a
it's
logistical nightmare, hasn't it? From start to finish, it's been an absolute logistical nightmare for any college side to be able to play, no matter where it is, man.
no doubt.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
And I couldn't imagine rugby. I mean, with rugby, at least with football, we've got on gear. Rugby, it's no gear, no nothing.
Yeah,
I couldn't. Oh my God,
yeah.
this
It's definitely complicated. There's been a lot of, well, they call it touch rugby, but if anyone's ever played touch rugby, they know that it doesn't stay touch rugby for very long because
I'm, I'm,
15
I'm,
boisterous guys start to get a little bit competitive, and in little to no time whatsoever, a touch goes straight into full contact.
no doubt, no doubt, and no, that's just like anything. If you feel any type of, if you have any type of competitive nature, it's gonna. If you play spades, Uno, phase 10, if you're competitive, it's gonna come out at some point.
Oh yeah, man! You know it is Christmas time. Monopoly always comes out. We know it always breaks down family gatherings, man. Everyone starts getting real nasty.
Yep, because eventually it's going to turn into the game where it starts as a family game, but it's going to eventually migrate to the more adult end. 'Cause I know me, if I play Monopoly, even though it's play money, hey man, run me my money, and
Man, it's really interesting for me to be able to get to speak to you. Like, I always love it when I get the opportunity to speak to coaches that are also athletes and the dynamic and how that works. But what I really love about you is obviously you developed this passion for both lifting and football from a relatively young age. You've been successful at it, and you have kind of crafted your life around the aspect that you haven't ever given up on both of those passions. And I think that's quite rare to see, especially in a sport that's quite as demanding as powerlifting is. It is a full-time job. It's a heck of a job just by itself. Now you chuck work and stress and everything that comes with that on top of it, especially in sports. We know how crazy and erratic it can be. Like you said, trying to organize and orchestrate a team of 60 guys is just, that's a minefield in and of itself. So I love that you haven't given up on either of these things. And when you look back and you saw yourself kind of playing when you were kind of in your college days, did you ever think for a moment that this is where you would be now? Or what was your vision back then when you were playing with everything?
When I was actually a football player, when I was in college, man, I thought I was going to the league. Like I was pretty good. I just didn't know I knew that you had to work hard to make it to the NFL. I knew that. But I didn't know the amount of that. I didn't know the level. I'm going to say the level of dedication you had to commit. Like, I just thought, if you're good, the scouts are going to come out and, and they're going to see, okay, he can play football. And, and now that I'm a coach and I've actually seen the other side of, the whole scouting and living the life, like now that I I basically I also use my powerlifting because as an example, and I said this to my wife the other day, I wish I was as dedicated then as I am now, like, because with my lifting, man, like, just a small example. Yesterday, I got up at 8 o'clock. Um, I I worked for a little while. I took care of some schoolwork, and I benched. No, I didn't bench. I did my accessory work first because I knew that I was going to be doing a heavier bench. But my wife, she likes to work out in the afternoon because she fasts until like I think 2 o'clock. So she likes to go ahead and get her workout in before it just gets to the point where she's starving and she crashes. So I have to cut my workout in half. I have to work out twice, and sometimes I'll be walking at the gym at 9 o'clock. When if I just did my whole workout all together, I'll be done in the afternoon. But it's just a thing that both of us are dedicated fitness heads. So I do what I got to do so she can get hers in. She does what she has to do so I can get mine in. And sometimes it sucks because it's almost like your whole day, it revolves around getting food, getting rest so that you can go to the gym and you can get that second lift in. Like as soon as I walk in, I eat, I take care of my daughter. Me and her, we go take a nap, and I'm basically suiting up to go hit my second lift of the day. I just wish that I had that level of dedication when I was playing, because when you're good at something and you're ignorant to, you know, other things, you just you do what a teenager would do, you party, you eat the wrong food, you don't get enough rest, but it don't matter because when I go on the football field, I'm good. I could do all this and still be good. So now I just imagine if I eliminated all of the ignorance and I ate right, I rest properly. How good could I have been if I would have eliminated all the distractions? And it's one of those things where hindsight is always 20/20. But it just makes you think. You know.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think it's a really interesting point that you bring up there, because it's like if you had that opportunity and you did that, the world wouldn't have the Ray Williams that it has today. And like it's going to sound really, really, really selfish of me to say this, but I think if you had done that, then I don't think powerlifting would be where it is right now. I don't think strength sports would be where it is right now. I think, that there is natural growth and natural inflation, but I'm not going to sit here and like try and blow smoke up your ass, but you have done a tremendous amount for the sport, man. And yes, as much as you could have made racks and racks and racks playing in the NFL, and you could live the life that you could ever dream of. Yeah, there are downsides. Yeah, we're seeing more and more now that the guys in the pro leagues are suffering bad with that CTE, man. And it's like, yeah, you're putting your body through a stress right now, but unfortunately, those guys are literally putting their potential lives on the line. And I mean, I played sports. I played rugby to a high standard. I trialed for England twice, under 16s, under 17s. I was in a professional academy from the age of 13. Like, I know how intense it is. And shit happens on the playing field that you can never predict. You know, people get into rucks and mauls and whatever, and they get crushed and they snap their neck and they can never walk again. Freak things happen on the field.
No doubt.
And I think, yes, it probably would have been really, really cool for you to go back and kind of put all of that into it and become like the greatest NFL player that had ever lived. But I think selfishly, I would choose a Ray Williams that we have today any day of the week over that, because man, it's been a roller coaster, and you're still to this day like wowing the masses. Do you know what I mean? Like, how rare is that for someone to be in the game for the duration that you have and consistently perform? Like, I think that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
And I agree. I agree with you as well. Me going through what I went through in college, it humbled me, and it also caused me to switch gears, to be more observant, to try to learn more. And I'm grateful for the person I am today. I thank God for the person I am today, because I think if I would have gone to the NFL, I would have. And please don't I don't want to give the impression that I was some projected high draft pick who just fouled up. No. I played at a small 1AA school. I would have to have had worked incredibly hard to even get a shot at the NFL. But what I'm saying is I would have got that shot if I would have eliminated the distractions. I don't want people to think that I was some high profile guy. I wasn't that. I was somebody that would have to have worked my tail off. But I regress. I love powerlifting, man. And just, being the fact that I can get up every day, go to the gym. And I've told my wife, man, sometimes I go to the gym, I set my music, and I just play I play my music, and I just get lost. Like, I'll look up and I'll been just finished my warm ups, and I've been in there an hour and a half, man, just vibing. Like, the gym is, people don't understand. Like, people look at the gym as a challenge or an obstacle. I look at the gym as home. When I walk in, and I totally understand. Some people will never see it, the gym, how we see the gym. They will never see it. They will only see the work that you have to put in to get that six pack, to get big traps, to get massive biceps, or whatever it is people do when they go to the gym. But with us, when we walk in the gym, man, we see, this is my opportunity to take off all my other hats. I don't have to be a coach in here. I don't have to be a father in here. I don't have to be anything else in here but a lifter. I take all those hats off at the door, and I just go in there and I just have fun. And that's the thing, man. Like, until people learn to enjoy what they do, the gym will always be that place of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, it kills me sometimes when you look at some stuff and, you go to the gym and you see skull and crossbones, and, like, bro, like, if that's how you see the gym, that's cool. That ain't how I see the gym. This is fun to me. And I'm gonna do what I do in the gym until it's not fun no more. Just like, I'm pretty sure everybody in the world knows who Barry Sanders is. When Barry Sanders got to the point when the game wasn't fun to him, what did he do? He walked away from it. And people ask Barry Sanders to this day, like, would you have done anything different? And his answer, for most interviews and And articles I've read is no. I enjoyed the game while the game was fun. When the game stopped being fun, I walked away.
Yeah, because
And
that's
that's
the day
how
it
it's
starts
supposed to be.
becoming work, doesn't it? Like
Hmm.
it stops becoming fun, it starts becoming work. And when you're in that position, especially in sports as well, because it's so demanding in so many different facets, like psychologically, physiologically, like socially, the restrictions that you have to put yourself through. And especially at that young age, like you're talking about, like if you want to make it in the big leagues, like it's like, okay, you ain't going out and seeing your friends the weekend because you're playing on a Saturday and you're recovering on a Sunday because you need to be back in the gym by Monday to get ready to do your S&C for the rest of the week. And it's like,
No doubt. No
hey,
doubt.
and a lot of people just aren't built like that. And I think especially now, like we're in a day and age where like this has kind of made it sexy to be in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like there are a lot of people in the gym that are just fronting, like 100% fronting. They don't want to be there. They're there because they want to put it on here that they're in there. They got their new Gymshark leggings set and they want to post it up there. And it's like, hey, if you are sat there and you're bitching and moaning and you're not enjoying it, don't be here.
Go home.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
there are so many other forms of fitness that you can do in 2020. Why are you wasting your time and more importantly taking up the space of people that want to be here doing so? Like, I think it's really important that people need to understand that if it doesn't work for you, that's cool. Just go find someone else. Do something else. Do something productive. There is so much
and
out
to
there.
and to piggyback off what you just said, there are some people who we who love it can help. Like there's some
Yes.
people who are complaining from us from and they're complaining out of a space where I don't know what I'm doing. I
Yeah.
can get to where I'm trying to get to where you are, but I don't know what I'm doing. Like those are the people you can help. Cause those are the people, hey bro, how about this? Try this. Try engaging your core a little bit more. Try doing this. Hey, you might want to stretch your ankles or such and such. You know, those are the people you can hit with a coaching tip or two, or just give some advice. And once they see progress, they're gonna love it just as much as you do. But then on the other hand, you got the people who are just there because, man, I saw such and such on the ground, man. He got 100,000 some followers. He just got this sponsorship. So hey, if I can do what he doing, I can get that same stuff. Those are the people that aren't gonna last long in the gym. I've had so many people hit me up. Hey man, how did you get with SBD, man? Such and such, such and such. Well, first off, I didn't when I got into powerlifting, I didn't I didn't think I would do this long because it's an expensive hobby to have, and you probably know this. Um,
Yeah.
Between
Those
diet,
grocery bills
supplement,
don't pay themselves.
woo, like me and my wife about to go grocery shopping today, and between the two of us, I'm a 400-pound man, so I have to eat. And we tried. My wife, she's she's very very conscious of what she puts in her body. So in through us living together and cooking together, she influences me to eat a little bit healthier. Like everybody knows, I'm a Southern man. I'm from Alabama. Man, we love pork. We love bacon. We love sausage. We love all that. My wife makes sure that you got one day a week to have pork, sir. I have pork on Saturday. That is the only day I can have pork. Because we have a family. We have plans. But you ain't gonna, um, we're not going to be able to live our plans out if you're in the ground because you're not taking care of yourself. So my wife, she makes sure I'm not, eating a whole bunch of sugar or a whole bunch of pork. So, we help each other. And that's what you need. If you're gonna make it long in any game, you need a support system. Now, once again, I digress. But people ask me, what do you do to get with SBD? Well, dog, I made it a point to be the best at what I do. You know, Nobody is going to put their name on you just because you have one or two good meets. Your thing, my thing has always been if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and I try to make it a point. I want to be the best at what I do, and once I still don't think I'm the best, even though a lot of people have, a lot of different opinions.
What makes you say that? What makes you say that you don't think you're the best? I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Because I'm still driven. I still have goals. I still have things I want to accomplish.
But can you not
And
be the best and still have goals?
yes, yes. I just never want to get to a point of complacency. I always want to be in grind mode. And
I
once
don't
you
think
get to
you'll
a
ever
point,
be complacent though, dude. I don't think you ever will be. Like, I
you
think
you
it's
you
just
you
ingrained in you.
you'll be surprised. And I'm not saying I got complacent, but for a little while, you kind of get to a point where you get reckless. Complacency can complacency isn't always. It's like I tell my players, complacency isn't always a synonym with lazy. Because some people, when they get complacent, they don't train as hard. I got reckless. Like I would go to the gym. Like let's say coach had me programmed to do like I'm still working my bench. Me and bench press, we had a bittersweet relationship. So I'm working my bench. And I want my bench to be bigger. So let's say coach had me scripted to do 205 kilos, which is 451 or 453, somewhere up in there. Let's say he has me programmed to do that for 4x3. Well, I need a bigger bench, so I'm gonna go do 7x3. Well, damn. Now I go up in there, my elbow tendonitis is flaring up. Well, your elbow hurts. That's gonna affect your squat a little bit because you gotta lock in on the bar, and that's the type of stuff I was doing. I got complacent from the point that I never wanted to slow down. And now that I'm a little bit older, I see sometimes you can accomplish more by doing less. It's just, you have to have the knowledge and the experience to do it the right way. And that's what being in the game so long has taught me. And that's why I don't see myself as the best because I still got stuff to do. I see myself as the best when I'm the best at everything, when I'm the best across the board, when I got the biggest bench, biggest squat, biggest deadlift, biggest total. At that moment, okay, you're the best. But until then, we grinding.
That's good. I like that. I like to hear that. That's very very appetizing. Now I'm interested to get into this. So when you kind of go back to saying that you're reckless and what have you, and you kind of said that you're in that complacent phase, is that reflected in stuff that's going on outside of the gym? Because I feel like this is the other thing that people don't take into consideration is that I think, performances and what people put into camps leading up to things is directly reflected in everything that happens outside of it. And as a sports person, you have at any one time so many different plates that you're spinning, and the stress can be incredibly overwhelming. So like I love the fact that you talk about now, like you and your wife are very much on the same wavelength, and that you understand each other's needs in the sense of that you're creating the time for each other because you respect that each other needs that. And that in and of itself is very very rare to find, and that sounds like a much more productive and cohesive environment for you to excel in. So when you were going through this phase, was there lots of stress and stuff that was bogging you down, that was screwing with you, or was it just literally like it had just got into your head?
Um, yeah. Let's rewind the clock. Let's go back to Sweden. World's last. Was it last? No, yeah, last year
2019,
in
yeah.
in Sweden. All right. Um, Leading up to Sweden, um, there was a lot going on, and I had a lot on my plate, but that had nothing to do with me bombing out at Worlds. And there's a gentleman who felt the need to put some stuff out on YouTube. I'm not going to mention this person's name, but I just want this person to know that they touch some subjects that if you don't know a man, if you've never had a conversation with a person, if you don't if it's some stuff you don't speak on.
Yeah, 100%.
And this person went there. And a lot of people, a lot of people buy into that garbage. Um, well, a lifter, a very known, notable lifter, he got popped, and I guess Ray Williams got scared, so he got off steroids right before Worlds. That is the dumbest thing ever. Because if this
It's
person
stupid as
truly
fuck.
knew me and truly followed me, they would have known that a week before Worlds, a week, Ray Williams was at Rogue headquarters in Columbus, Ohio. He squatted 1,063 at Rogue headquarters
Yeah,
the week before.
yeah.
So you mean to tell me in a week's time, Ray got off steroids a week ago, right before right before the World Championship, and he squatted 1,063, which is like, I don't know what, 30, 40 pounds, 30 some pounds shy of 1,100, which was his goal at Worlds. Okay, all right. So that's one point. The second point is, you get food poisoning. That kind of affects hydration. That affects how you sleep. That affects a lot of stuff.
Yeah, drastically.
And
Like,
then, not to
drastically.
mention, when I got back and I found out that I had food poisoning, I also found out that I had strep throat. I don't know if that plays into anything, but like, I was very sick when I went in to compete at Worlds. It had nothing to do with having a baby. It had nothing to do with being married. It had nothing to do with me being a student. It had nothing to do with none of that. This is a dude who is fishing for YouTube views, likes, and subscribers, and I congratulate him. He did a good job. But I also congratulate him in picking the right person to talk garbage about, because that that don't fly with me. Like, I
No.
don't care who you are, what you do, what you feel like your purpose in this world is. Don't speak on my family. My family has nothing to do with powerlifting. My family has nothing to do with anything that's on your YouTube page. That was personal. I took that as a shot, and like I said last week, he did a great job at pissing off somebody that's already very, very motivated.
Which
Because
is a deadly combination. That's a deadly combo, man.
so yeah.
So, in terms of kind of, moving forward with everything, you've got Sweden out of the way. You've had a good length of time now where, you know, you've been isolated with your training. You've been able to get on with what you're doing. You're looking now, and I think you've spoken about this recently as well. Like, you are looking and feeling leaner than you have been, especially coming into meets previously. At the same time, keeping the same strength, which I think that's really, really exciting to see. That it's people can't use the fact that it's like, okay, he's this huge guy, he's leaning into his levers. Yeah, okay, now you dropped poundage, you're still putting up the same weights. It's like, I love that you just keep coming back. It's like, okay, what are you going to say now? Okay, yeah,
It,
don't worry about it. Tick off. What are you going to say
the
now?
hard
Okay,
the
tick
hardest
off.
part is, you touched on it. The hardest part is losing body fat, because it changes your leverages.
Big time.
So yeah, that's pretty much why me and my coach have kind of settled into this little deal right now. Let's relearn our leverages. Let's take care of the little aches and pains, because everybody, I have piriformis. I have tendonitis really bad in my elbow from football. So we're just taking this time to get healthy, get technically sound. That way, once we do decide to jump into a real deal training cycle, we have no reason to slow down, because that typically is what happens. You get in, bam, piriformis flares up, and man, now I got to slow down. Now I got to deload. Now I got to stay at this same weight for a couple of weeks until it kind of subsides a little bit. But you know, we're trying to get ahead of the curve and just enjoy being pain free for a little while. And it's like right now nothing hurts, and it feels good. It feels good to be pain free for once.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that that's a huge topic to touch on is that being in the position you're in, you know, when you're squatting the load, the volume, when you're benching, when you're deadlifting, just because of the fact that you need to have that progressive overload, you need to have that constant stimulus of being underweight to neurologically progress your strength training. It's hard because recoverability sucks because all the time you're just constantly pushing your body, pushing your body, pushing your body.
Mhm.
And all these little things, like you said there, then start to creep through the woodwork and it becomes incredibly frustrating. I'm sure you can kind of speak on this psychologically, understanding that your musculature, your frame, everything is in the position that it can be in to achieve these loads. But all it takes is a tiny little nerve that's maybe inflamed that just switches everything off. And it's so hard. It's kind of like you can reach out and touch it, but there's just this really thin sheet of glass in between you and that goal. And it's like
Yep.
you're ever just trying to get there. So how has that been for you, man? Because I know you know it took you, was it the best part of 6 years to take the squat from 400 to like 480, 490, something like that, right?
hmm It took me 3 years. I squatted 905 in 2012, and I didn't squat 1,000 until 2016. So,
Cool.
you know,
Yeah, 4 years.
that
Yeah,
kind of that should definitely put no, it was 2013. It was 3 years. I'm sorry, it was 3 years.
three
I
years.
squatted 905 in Mobile, Alabama at the Alabama State Championships, and I didn't hit 1,000 to Atlanta, Georgia, Raw Nationals 2016. So, and a lot of that had to do with me having piriformis. And for people who don't know, piriformis muscle is a small muscle located in your glute, deep in your glute,
Oh
and
yeah.
that muscle is covered by thick muscle like the gluteus maximus and the maximus is a thick muscle and it covers that. So to get to the piriformis, you have to get through a lot of muscle. So that's why, like, you know, as I get older, like I gotta find, I've got a good chiropractor. I've got several good people helping me from a chiropractic standpoint. It's just, you know, I haven't found a really good deep tissue person. Still looking for that person. Um,
Hey man, I'm based in the UK, but I do it. And you know, hey, I'm more than happy to get my elbow in your piriformis, man. I work with big, sweaty rugby players. I'm good. I'm good. I can handle that. If you can take my
man,
elbow, I'll come over there tomorrow, dude. It's cool.
dude, I'm telling you, like the first time I got dry needling for the first
Ooh,
time a couple of weeks ago, and when I tell you, for the rest of the day, I felt like I had been shot. But the next day, when that muscle actually kind of reset itself, oh my God, I was good for, you know, and that's just the thing, you know. I have to find other ways to, you know, to get ready for the platform other than, you know, the Theragun, my lacrosse balls. No, that's good stuff,
yeah.
but there's nothing like somebody who went to school to do this.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Now it's interesting because I think power, like, depending upon which power lifter you speak to, they really come from various different schools in terms of when it comes to like Theragun, lacrosse ball, all this various different bits and pieces. When you're coming into a session, are you doing any kind of like of that like self-myofascial release stuff going into sessions? Is it to help with mobility? Is it on recovery days? When are you doing that, and do you do it regularly?
Um, I own everything at the house. Like I've got the complex unit, the tennis unit.
Yeah,
I've
man.
got the I've got the portable ones that you can connect to your phone to Bluetooth. I've got tennis units. We've got a couple of Theraguns. We took the Eddie Hall the buffer. We've got one of
Yeah.
those. We've got foam rollers. We've got what's the little thing called, the SOAS. We've got one
Yeah,
of those.
that's so right.
We've got
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
everything.
so right, so
Yeah,
right.
bro.
We have everything at the house for recovery. Um, the thing is, I am still a meathead when it comes to the gym. I go to the gym, the music get it going, the pre-workout gets it going. I do the the quick little Jane Fonda stretch. Okay, let's go. Let's go. I'm loose. And then you end up after the workout like, damn, I didn't stretch at all. So
Oh man.
it's like I said, man, just something about being in there. Maybe I need to stretch before I get to the gym. But
Yeah, man. Before you get in the car, you just need to blast yourself at home because as
I
soon
know.
as you step in, you plug that phone and it's like game over. That's it. We're
Yeah.
vibing. Let's go. Warm up says,
Yep.
baby.
What's my first warm up? Oh, okay. I can get warm. I can get stretched through my warm up, and that's what a lot of people think. I stretch while I warm up. No, that's not what happens. That's not what happens. Like I found that out the other day. I was doing leg extensions, and typically I do like a wall stretch. I stretch my ankles. I I do the little stretch where you lay on the ground, where you sit on the ground and you put one leg in front of you and you lean into it to activate the glutes.
Uh-huh.
I was kind of in a time crunch, so I just hopped straight on the leg extension machine. I'm talking about my knees sounded like popcorn that first set. Like, no, I can't do this no more. I'm too old for this.
It's all catching
But
up with you, man. Running
yeah,
all those suicides on the pitch. That's it. It's
no doubt.
finally giving in.
Yeah, 8, 10 years of cut blocks and all that. Yeah, it's catching up to you.
But like this is the thing that I find so fascinating. Like understanding what the body has to go through with American football. Okay, that unlike just joints, and like your spine in general. There is so many possibilities for stuff to go wrong. Then getting into powerlifting, the exact same thing again, like compression, all this stuff, destroying the meniscus, like super common. Even in like wrap lifters and equip lifters, and then Ray just comes along and is casually like squatting over 400 kilos with like no sleeves, and then just chucks on a pair of sleeves and just destroys absolutely everything. And you're like,
Yeah, and that's something I don't understand. Um, like if you're an equipped lifter, I understand. There's pressure to show what you can do in sleeves, but like a lot of people like Ray, man, you should throw on wraps and a suit. I bet you hit 1,200, bruh. If you've ever had 1,000 pounds on your back, you don't want 1,200 pounds on your back. Like you don't want that on your back. Like there's no amount of spotters in the world that are gonna pull 1,200 pounds out of off any man, if something goes wrong. Like 1,200 pounds is a lot of weight. I wouldn't feel comfortable squatting that type of weight. And I know people like, well, your goal is 500. That's 100 pounds more than my goal. I wouldn't feel comfortable squatting that type of weight unless I was in a mono. And that's just the God honest truth.
yeah, it's crazy. Like it, and I don't think people pay the respect it deserves when you're talking about kind of like scaling up, like on that scale as well. Like we talked about the fact that it took 3 years to put 90 kilos on there. Like 3 years to put 90 kilos on there, that's good going. That is a solid average increment every single month working up across those. A lot of people will never, ever be able to put weight on their lifts at that same rate. Hey, even if they're taking stuff, even if they're on stuff, even if their natural levels are at 1,000% that it should be, like that's just never going to happen.
You can't say that. You can't say that. You're gonna start something. Don't say that. You can't say
It's
you
already
can't
been started, Ray. It's already
you
been
you
started.
you can't put that in the air that Ray Williams, who doesn't take anything, is out squatting people who take stuff. You're gonna start something.
The fire's burning, baby. The fire's burning. It's roaring. We don't care. We're gonna call it
Yeah,
out. We're gonna say it how it is.
let's not get into the whole the the natty versus unnatty Like that conversation makes me so sick because you got dudes out there like, well, bro, you take protein and creatine and pre-workout. You're not natty, bro. First of all, I'm a context person. Let's talk context. We're talking about powerlifting, dude. So if we're talking about natty versus unnatty, I ain't talking about GNC supplements. I ain't talking about. I'm
I'm
not
talking about no
talking about.
creatine monohydrate.
No, I'm talking about stuff that was originally created to make animals bigger. Like, yeah, like the stuff you take, bro. Number one, you can't buy it at GNC. Number two, if you kind of do your research, bro, this stuff was developed and made to make horses bigger, not people. So yeah, miss me with all that. Miss me with the whole natty versus unnatty conversation. People who entertain that whole conversation, like bro, if we're talking about anything strength related, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, anything, we're talking about steroids versus no steroids. We're not talking about people who take creatine, protein, pre-work. We ain't talking about that. Let's provide some context with what we're talking about. We're talking about steroids versus no steroids. That's what we're talking about. That's the conversation. It pains me to sit there and listen to people talk about. Well, bro, if you take protein, that means you're not natty.
Yeah,
That's not what we're talking about.
but let's all face it. If there is anyone that is saying that stuff, 100%, they probably can't squat body weight. Fact number one. They probably don't have a profile picture. Number two. Their name is probably like Lady Killer 999 XOXO. Like
Yeah,
this is
9990TX77
yeah, like
dash underscore.
these are motherfuckers that will never even get to a national level. It's like these people can't be chiming in. Ray Williams can't be listening to these people because these people are morons. They will never understand this. Ever, ever,
Yeah,
ever, ever,
we
ever.
don't we don't pay attention to them people. Like people just don't understand what a random drug test. And then you got your your guys who they constantly promote this knowledge where there are certain things you can do to beat a drug test. That is very true, my brother. But how do you implement those plans when the drug testers show up randomly to your job, to your home, to your job, and to your home randomly? That means you have no idea when they're coming.
Yeah.
Like I got drug tested last week, and the only reason I was able to, make that test because my wife heard the dog barking, and she was like, "You might want to go check the door because what if it's the drug test people?" That's exactly what she said. So I opened the side door, and lo and behold, he came off our front porch and was like, "Hey, I was looking for you. There you go, drug tested." Like, how do you beat a random test? And it's not like they send me in the bathroom by myself. No, they go with you. Once they make contact, they don't leave your side.
Yeah, they're not allowed to. They have to witness you doing it legally, and they have to document the fact that they've seen you do it.
Yeah, and it ain't like, dude, like I said, man, it's
I
that's
just
why I just
love
said
seeing how riled up it gets you,
that's why I
man.
just said shh. Just let we don't want to make them mad.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Look, I know you're a busy guy, so we'll look to wrap it up here now. I love to end the show the same way with every guest because I think it brings a different standpoint, a different view on everything. So,
Yes, sir.
for a second, I want you to imagine that you are stepping into a time machine. Okay, when you step into that time machine, you are taken back to you're like 10, 11, 12 years of age. Very, very formative years of your life ahead of you. You've got so many things lined up ahead that you've already been through and you've already experienced, and you've gathered the information that you wanted to take away from those scenarios and implemented them in your life. You get to spend a few minutes with your younger self, and you get to impart a bit of wisdom, maybe a mantra to live by, a way to help your younger self get through everything that you know that they're going to have to go through. In those moments, what do you say?
Well, I would when I was younger, and all my family, they know me. They call me Ray Ray. So, young Ray Ray, the day you came into this world, on a Tuesday, September the 16th, 1986, the day you were born, young man. God endowed you with one mouth and two ears to make it further, to make fewer mistakes, and to take advantage of a lot more opportunities that are put in front of you. Talk less, listen more. That's why God gave you one mouth and two ears. That would be my advice to my younger self.
I love that. That is absolutely perfect. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Ray, thank you so much for coming on board and doing this, man. It's been an absolute pleasure sitting down and having a chat with you. Super excited to see what happens when the world gets back to some normality. Super excited to see some world records broken again, man. Super excited to see some big numbers flying around. Everything's looking good. Everything's starting to look up again. Big times ahead, man. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you for having me, brother.